All righty, we're recording. All right, hello people, and welcome to another folding session. Hey, we're here, we're live. We got about 16 people. No, we got 16, no, 15 people, 16 counting me, hello, in the room. And today we're gonna look at Rosette design and hopefully make a case for the general, solution for Rosette design in any end polygon, and hopefully also see how mirrors come into play with this approach. That's actually a very important topic. And then we're going to see this Islamic pattern in a six-fold. A six-fold Islamic pattern that's very beautiful. I really love it. And has a lot of intricate details in it. It can be even a little thing for tessellations. And if time allows, we're going to see the concept of channels in origami tessellation. And hopefully we'll get to reinterpret also the pattern that we fold, the Islamic pattern, into a tessellation in itself. So I think that should be fun. Let's see how we do. And this one will also be interrelated with Spanish. So I'm going to be speaking Spanish and English and back and forth. So, hey, entonces, bueno, introducción. Ok, vamos a ver análisis de Rosette. Vamos a hablar en español y en inglés. Vamos a hacer el caso para cómo estas figuras pueden hacerse con dobleces. Vamos a ver cómo los espejos tienen un juego en esto, cómo las diferentes estrellas interactúan con esto. Eso va a ser el primer ejercicio, es básico. Y luego vamos a hacer el patrón islámico, un patrón islámico en un hexágono. Y es muy bonito, es muy hermoso y tiene todas estas cosas relacionadas al 12 y al 6. Y es muy ingenioso. Este lo pueden encontrar en India, en Fatehpur, creo que se llama el lugar. Pero sí, este lo ves en India y en Irán más que nada, pero es persa el patrón. Muy bonito. Bueno, vamos a ver eso y ojalá lo disfruten. Hope you enjoy. And so we begin. Nope. All right. So first off is getting the octagon. Lo primero va a ser construir el octágono. I'm going to begin by putting the short edge on the long edge of my rectangle. If you have a square, then all the best, since this step is already cut out for you. I'm actually going to cut a square first. And from the square, I'm going to get my octagon. Just for simplicity's sake. Entonces voy a empezar cortando un cuadrado y luego de ahí voy a cortar un octágono. Pero para hacerlo más sencillo voy a cortar el cuadrado primero. So I use the negative space. I use the backdrop of the fold I just did in order to reference there. I like to do this turning it over so that there's no overlap, since paper is a 3D object, and if I fold onto a layer that is folded, it will create a small divot or a small height. Entonces, como el papel es un objeto tridimensional, intento hacer este doblez que acaban de ver hacia el lado que no tiene el doblez. Si lo hago encima de este doblez, como esto tiene altura y lo estoy colocando encima, y si yo hago esto, la altura que tiene va a ser una ligera como de un desfase que no quiero. Entonces, por eso me voy hacia el otro lado, pero ya desdoblado ya lo puedo hacer así. Debilito la fibra y esto ya lo puedo cortar. My technique for cutting involves weakening the fibers, pretty much by doing a fold both ways. So I do a mountain and then a valley fold, and that allows me to do this. So it's once you do, I like to cut by folds because it's much more accurate. If you fold and then put a ruler on top and try to trace that fold, it's a lot harder for me. Oh my goodness. Let's see who. There we go. I'm sorry about that. If you guys have any questions anytime, feel free to unmute. Si tienen alguna duda, por favor, ahí se mutean, y si no, pues bueno, pues no. Muy bien, entonces así. Ahora la otra diagonal, both diagonals. I'm going to teach you the double mountain technique. Does it see? And now we're going to fold in the vertical and the horizontal. We want it to be in the same state. So if this is valley, we're going to fold the valley here as well. I'll do that for both. So you can see I have now these sets of mountain lines, yeah? Right? So on the side of mountains, this side, I'm going to select a slice. Voy a seleccionar, bueno, aquí tengo el lado de las montañas, voy a seleccionar una de estos fragmentos. Okay, I select that. So both of the mountains are active, if you will. And then I put my finger between and then push. And you see that it sinks and I match the edges to themselves. Like this. And then the other side as well, that edge matches to the edge too. You guys catch that? Anybody follow that double mountain technique idea? We've seen this before if you've been following the folding sessions. But the idea is to bisect these fragments.
So are we doing it on that side and on the opposite side as well?
On the opposite, you mean like on both these, like the line extends?
Yeah.
Yeah, the line extends completely, yes.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. So the idea is now to spread this bisection on all of them. So we can actually get creative about this part, which I like to do. Entonces vamos a tener que partir todos estos en la mitad, es la idea, ¿no? O sea, tenemos estos en cuartos y ahora lo vamos a llevar a octavos. Técnicamente estamos en 16avos, pero no importa. So what I'm going to do is I call this the hinge move. We have this here folded like this with that bisection. And what I like to do is I'd like to take this layer that's sort of hanging out and match the edge of it onto the division that I have already here. And that's pretty much the same thing. And I do that once and I do that twice, right on my left and my right. And what's important is that I unfold and go back. So it's important that I unfold these and then turn it over. And repeat the process. Entonces lo que estoy haciendo aquí es hacer esto, de hecho no sé cómo se traduce esto al español. En inglés la palabra es hinge, que es lo que básicamente hace que una puerta se abra, ¿no? Es lo que hace que la puerta, sí, es el ¿cómo se dice? Es lo que tiene la puerta, sí, ¿no? Hace este movimiento, la bisagra. No, no es bisagra. Pero bueno, la idea es llevar esta pared que está aquí a la división que tenemos, que se ve. Y la hacemos así y desdoblamos. I'm actually going to get a little closer here. Okay. Once we have this folded on both sides, so you can see that on this side I have this folded, and on the other side I have it folded as well. So fold it on my one side, fold it on the other, and then here's a fun thing. You hold it on the outermost division and you begin to pull that in like this. Sí, entonces aquí la idea es, bueno, seguir dividiendo hasta llegar a los octavos, o sea, para tener el octágono. Entonces habíamos empezado por aquí. Por aquí. Sí. Doblamos este, lo volteamos, doblamos este y doblamos este. Y con esos dobleces ahora esto lo introducimos. And now that we have this, y ahora con esto, lo finalizamos. We finish it off. By just taking this top and folding that to the other side as well, and then turning it over and repeating this. Now there's many ways to do this eightfold division. Muchas maneras de hacer la división de pues, la eightfold. Es interesante que no tiene traducción lo que es eightfold. No hay traducción al español para eso. Pero en inglés está chistoso que hasta la palabra eightfold, fold, esté ahí presente. Talking about eightfoldness in Spanish. Is this double format, double language confusing or frustrating for you? Good, good, good. Anyway, so this is the idea. Esta es la idea. So what makes this an eightfold pattern or an eightfold division is the following. I'm gonna do a little inscription while you guys finish it off. I want you to take notice of this. I'm gonna do one color for mountains and another color for valleys, okay? I'm gonna count my lines from the center. I'm not gonna count my lines diametrically. I'm gonna count lines from center outwards. So how many mountains are in my division? Lo que estoy hablando ahora es de que vamos a contar cuántas montañas y valles tiene esto. Y no voy a contar del diámetro, no voy a contar la línea que se cruza, sino voy a contar del centro hacia afuera. Entonces va una montaña, dos montañas. We're all going to learn how to count in Spanish now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 y 8. Y ahora, ¿cuántos valles tiene esto? How many valleys are in the figure? So we count off from the center outwards. Now we're going to learn how to count in English. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so this is what makes this eightfold. It always requires this bisection to happen, but notice this. It needs the fold in between in order for this to compress, in order for this to actually show us an eightfold slice like this. Because this slice, if we were able to copy this right there, it goes around 8 times in the center. And well, we still need one more thing to cut off, and that's these little guys, because we want an octagon. We don't want a square, we want an octagon. Although it's debatable whether we want it or not, but let's not cut them, but let's fold them, because you might get a tile out of this, which might prove useful down the line. But let's fold these little bits off. So far, so good. Everybody's got their octagon. Todos tienen su octágono hasta ahorita. Ok, muy bien. So voy a voltear el papel hacia donde están las montañas. I'm going to turn my paper to where these folds are mountains, the ones that hit these two. It's easier for me to see. But I want to turn it on the side that they're mountains. And now I'm going to repeat the process of what I call collapsing, right? So there's 2 ways that this collapses. Either it collapses on the side that I didn't draw on, or it collapses on the side that I did draw on. As you can see, this is the side that I didn't. There's no lines here. So one of the sides of this paper had my lines drawn in, and the other didn't. I think this is an important distinction to do. So here, notice this. I have it here in this division, and if I open it up so much that I can make it close it on the other side. If you're a beginner, this is a very interesting thing to try and figure out and wrap your head around. If you're not a beginner, then welcome to, to the class. But here's the thing. Entonces vamos a doblar esto en el lado que se vea esta figura aquí, este cometa. y vamos a doblarle estos excesos para arriba. Es más fácil hacer esta división así. So what I'm saying is that the reason why I prefer to do this way is because it's easier to see where it hits. We don't need to be matching anything. What we do need is just be able to raise our paper in such a way that we can guarantee and know for sure that it's hitting on those intersections on the edges. Entonces, una vez que sepamos que el doblez, que el papel toca en el punto de contacto, eso es donde hacemos este doblez. Y esto lo llamamos un pequeño milagro, es cuando vamos así girando esta cosa. Ahora, si lo vemos de cierta manera, aquí hay 8 aspas, 8 divisiones. Entonces, para mantener un balance, hacemos que haya siempre las mismas cantidades en ambos lados, ¿no? En la izquierda y la derecha. Aquí tengo 1, 2, 3 y 4, y de este lado tengo 1, 2, 3 y 4. I'm saying here that because these are 8-fold divisions, we have 8 of these. You can see there from the top view. It goes like this. So what we need is this to be balanced. So if we're folding it like this, flatness, we want to have 4 on my right side and 4 on my left. That will create less stress for the center. So if I have 7 of these on one side and only 1 on my left, it's going to create a little bit of too much stress sometimes on the center. So try and keep a balance, especially in the higher polygon numbers. If you do this, this is called, by the way, a preliminary fold. It's when you have a polygon and you apply this mountain valley configuration. That's called a preliminary fold. What's funny is that because the preliminary fold is used for one of the more famous tessellations, the water bomb tessellation, people mistakenly call the polygon division a water bomb. So there are people who might make the case that this is the water bomb for an octagon, but it's not. It's simply an octagon that's just divided in the preliminary fold. So this is the idea right now. Everybody got so far the octagon? We good? Awesome. All right, so here's the thing. Entonces, muy bien. ¿Todos tenemos el octágono? Excelente. So there's 2 ways now. That's going to be more obvious, the way that these 2 things can sort of close. It's optional, by the way. You can cut this or you can't. It doesn't matter. I mean, I think it's better if you do, but you can leave it in and it will help you have at least a tile, which is fun too. Entonces hay 2 maneras de cerrar esto. Una es así y la otra manera es así. There's 2 ways to close this. One is like I showed first, and the other is like this. So one has a kite shape with a little bit left off, and the other has just like that. Yeah? So we want the kite shape.
Actually, I'm a bit lost.
Yes, what?
When you folded the bottom up, you know that once when you refolded it into the fold, I couldn't find the little piece that you folded up to get the octagon. I'm folding it again.
You mean these?
Yeah.
Well, if you're folding it around, you should be able to see where, some of them have like already that edge and the others don't. This, by the way, is called Little Miracle. When you take this preliminary fold in this way, collapse, and you then turn one of these
Maybe I collapsed it in the wrong way.
It's possible that you're on the other side. Yes, it's possible that you're over here. It's gonna look either like I had it, or it's gonna look like this. How does yours look?
What it's looking like. That's what it's looking like.
Yeah, you gotta open it up so much that it closes on the other side.
Oh yes, I was doing it on the wrong side, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you see it like this, then this is the bit that you.
Okay, now I got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so we're in the kite shape. This is where we're at. So here's the trick. This is where the circle part comes in. We're gonna put circles at this corner. We wanna know where this value hits on this line, okay? So here's the magic of folding. We're simply gonna take that line which we want and put it onto the edge where we want it, or the line where we want it, simply like that. What's interesting, and this will happen for any polygon, I'm talking like you can have an 11-sided polygon, you can have a 7-sided polygon, and if you do this, they will always, and it's interesting to think about, have a straight line when you fold them together. Like these two will always, no matter what the polygon, when folded, make a straight line right there. And it makes a lot of sense because what we're folding is a right angle. So two right angles make a straight line. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Entonces aquí lo que estamos haciendo es nuestra parte de como incorporar el círculo a nuestra situación. Entonces el círculo está situado en esta punta y este es el radio. Esta línea que se va de la punta a la otra es el radio. Entonces lo que queremos es llevar ese valor hacia la línea radial. Entonces empatamos estas dos, entonces el valor, como si fuera un radio, ahora sabemos en dónde localizarlo. Y lo tenemos así. We have to do this for all of them, but if you want to have a little bit of an edge, not an edge, but if you want to like know where this is going to go, we're going to do what's called in origami an inside reverse fold. So that means that we do a fold, and then that fold, we use it to tuck it in. So you do this fold that I just did, this one, then you open up the layer that it's in and you fold it inside. Like that. You see how it's inside now? And do the same thing for the other side. So if you didn't cut, this is why I sort of recommend cutting the octagon out first. Because if you didn't, then it's gonna have all this layering this side, which will get in the way. Inevitably, it will go in the way. So some things for others, really. I left it in, but you know, I mean, perhaps it is better to cut it out, but I'll leave that up to you. Entonces aquí eso vamos a hacer lo que se llama en inglés un inside reverse fold, no sé cómo se llama en español. Pero la idea es hacer un doblez, como aquí lo estoy haciendo, que eso lo tenemos que hacer para todos. Voy a hacerlo con este el ejemplo. Bueno, voy a hacer el otro también para ir una vez. Pero como es interesante también considerar que como estamos doblando dos ángulos rectos, van a sumar a una línea recta. ¿Verdad? Estamos llevando este valor y lo estamos colocando aquí y cuando juntas con otro, ¡pum! Bueno, una vez que haces esos dobleces, vas a levantar esta capa y meterlo. Así. 1. Y 2. Y así vamos repitiendo. So we have to now do them for all of them. Anybody here get late? Anybody here stuck in a step before? Want me to do anything back while we're doing this repetitive algorithm thing? Not the time.
I think I'm just a beginner, so I'm stuck at almost everything.
Which part are you in?
Okay, I folded a little bit up, and now I can't seem to. I don't know whether I'm right or not.
Okay. So you folded a little bit up, right? Is that where you're at? You folded
a little bit.
So you have the octagon.
That's what I've done.
Wait, are you showing something? Because I'm not seeing the cameras.
Okay, wait. Let me just show you. This one here.
Okay.
I'll do that better.
Got it. Okay, so now you have to. I would recommend that you cut away those bits.
Okay.
Yes, cut away those bits, and then.
So I'll cut it away.
Huh? Well, you can use your fingers. You can just do a fold and just rip it off, or you know whatever works for you best. If you have some scissors and that works for you, that's fine. But once you do cut those out, you want to be in the position where it looks like this. Well, not without, ignore these folds, right? But like this shape, this kite shape. That's where you want to be at. So this is the other side. So if you were here with the bits, now you open it so much that it closes on the other side.
And so I work on the other side then?
Yes, that's where it is.
Okay.
Let's see, I'm missing 1, 2, save these. That's done. Okay, so I wanted to show the circle first, because now comes the time to choose. Well, once this is done though, you're gonna choose which star do you want to reflect? It's an interesting kind of question, and I'm sort of diving you into deep waters pretty fast, but it is something that it's needed in order to make the case that is not only general for polygons, but it's general for stars. And I think that's a very beautiful thing. So here's how this works. So once you have this, right? Now you're gonna need to open it up completely and unfold it completely. But this is the general sort of idea. If it actually helps to see the circle if you do this fold. If you do this fold for all of them, you will appreciate the circle a lot more that is in there. It's not necessary right now, but it is a cool little thing. Entonces, ya que tienen esta figura, que es como, bueno, ven que está recortado aquí nuestro cometa, podemos hacer esto, donde doblamos para abajo y nos va a ayudar a visualizar un poco mejor el círculo que está ahí presente. Esa es la idea, la intención de este doblez aquí. Y bueno, ahora vamos a hacer el caso general en donde vamos a no solamente escoger, o sea, no solo funciona esto generalmente para cualquier polígono, sino que funciona generalmente para cualquier estrella. Entonces aquí va más o menos cómo funciona. So, okay, we have this, and you need it to be on the side that these are mountains. So it looks a little something like this in mine. Now, here's the deal. This is where you get to choose. Which star do you want to bounce off? The more basic star, the star that we always bounce off is a more basic one. It's the polygon itself. So we can you go to the midpoint of the edge and you count midpoints of edges. So the more basic Rosette, the one I'm going to do, goes just from here to here. I go 0, 1, and I'm going to do this fold. I'm just going to fold these. Just going to fold that. If you want some more adventure, you can go 0, 1, 2, and do that fold. So up to you. I'm going to do this one. There's also 8, 3, but I think that's too crazy. I think that to go all the way up to there, I think that's too crazy. But you know, I would say try it maybe later. You don't want your first try to be a failure. I don't know what's going to happen really. It would be cool. This is mathematics after all, so you need to make a general case for these kinds of things. But we'll leave that up for another time. But for right now, let's do either the 8-2 or the 8-1. Entonces ahorita lo que es el sistema que tenemos es, bueno, queremos esta figura que hemos doblado del lado donde estas líneas son montañas y ahora hay que escoger la estrella que queremos espejear, el efecto de espejo aquí. Entonces la opción que tienes es te puedes ir al punto medio de la pared y contar en 0 y vas contando en puntos medios de la pared. Yo la estrella que voy a elegir va a ser 0, 1. Voy a marcar esta. Si quieren, opcionalmente pueden irse 0, 1, 2 y doblar esa línea. Y la idea es doblarlo para todos. Yo creo que la más fácil y la más como canónica, que es parte del canon así indiscutiblemente, es esta. Entonces yo creo que recomendaría empezar por aquí. I'm saying that I actually would recommend starting them there, but whatever. So we're going to fold all of these at the same time, which is also an advantage of folding the 8-1 that we don't need to fold and then unfold or whatever, just fold this down. Just fold these.
Do you have I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have an example of the 2 stars?
Of the 8-2?
Of the, to see what the difference would be from a practical point of view of the result.
Yeah, let's actually, I'm gonna, while you guys do this, I'm gonna really quickly do a mock-up. Because I don't have it physically, but let's do a little mock-up real quick. I'm gonna pull up AutoCAD and actually show you how this would look from this perspective. So we're starting off with an 8, that's an 8 gon. center there, circumscribed, yep. Oh, wait, give me a square, polygon, 8, center, circumscribed. There's our octagon. Here's our inscriptions for the radial lines, which are kind of unnecessary, but it's fine. Just to show where we're at. And our circles are here. The circle we're doing is here. Pretty much we're doing this circle all around the points. And so what we found was this, right? This is the point where this value is on this edge. So this is what we've been folding. So that means that, yeah, all right. The bisection is there. So let me just go ahead and bisect this. So I'm going to draw a line there. I'm only going to need to do this once too, but so be it. So the 8-2 would look like this. So this mirrors there. No, sorry. This mirrors on this. So now we can just erase those two and bounce it off of there. That extends. And now this gets arrayed on the center, goes 8 times. So this is how the 8-2 would look with the rosette. Which is kind of interesting. Actually, I've never seen this one before. But the one we want to do is this one. So I'm going to erase this. This is the one we just been trying to do here. So we do this one. Yeah, actually the rosettes, now that I'm sort of realizing, there are some that work and some that don't. Or some that are canonical and some that are not. Let's go ahead and just copy these. So this is what we're going after. This is the idea. This is if you do the 8-1, which I think is the better one because it actually is canonical. We actually do have these pedals. So let's go ahead and just do the 8-1. Ignore what I said about the 8-2. You want these pedals. This is the objective right here. Entonces lo que acabo de mostrar básicamente es de que por más, o sea, es que sí hay una figura que sale, pero no es algo común de ver, entonces vamos a quedarnos con lo que sí existe y sí es, que es la 8-1. Entonces vamos a doblarle nada más estos piquitos para abajo. So pretty much we saw that even though the 8-2 does give us a star, it's not something that is common or seen, but it's interesting that it does produce something, which is technically part of, like it's following the rules. I have done it for this, in the case for the 7, and it does give an example or a rosette on the 7-2 that is actually part of the canon. So it's interesting to play around with that. Yeah, so I recommend you play around with that. Some work, some don't. But this one always works. No matter what polygon you use, this one will always work, the n/1. So if you're using a 10 gon or 11 gon and you just fold this, it will always work. So far, so good? Okay, so now we're gonna unfold these. Now we folded. Vamos a desdoblar estos que acabamos de doblar aquí, estos. Y vamos a regresar a la figura que teníamos antes. We're gonna go back to the figure that we had before, this one, where these were folded in like that. So what I'm checking here is that I have 4 on my right and 4 on my left to keep it balanced. And now here, if I fold these down, you're actually going to be able to see the star line that we just got, these. You guys see those? That cross? When we fold this down? So what we want is we want to print, we want to take these lines and put them on the back. So what I like to do here is simply use these cross on the bottom as valleys and sort of pinch them and do this. And what that does is that it prints them on the back, you see? Entonces aquí lo que quiero hacer es copiar esta X que sale cuando bajo esta aspa, cuando bajo esto, ahí se ve una X por la estrella que elegimos. Y luego voy a usar estas dos líneas de abajo, las que están aquí, como para pellizcarlo y doblarlo y se hace esta figura. Right, so you have to return to this first. Es necesario regresar a esta figura primero. Once you're in this figure, you take these down, like so. And when you take those down, you're going to see that there's a cross that's sort of underneath there on the back layer. And what we want is for this information to get copied on the back layer. So we pinch those, we pinch this, and then you fold it down and you sort of press it. So it needs to go into the other layer like this. So it has a little bit left off there.
Can you show it how to fold this after folding the points inside?
After this, or rather folding these? Which one do you mean?
Once it was unfolded, I just want to see it folded again.
Okay, got it. So this is my octagon. And this was the first step that we did, where we found the circle that's inside of there. So the circle is this radius. And so you can clearly see that here as well, that point is where this line matches. So if we put a compass here, this would be where the circle is pretty much. All right, so from here, we now have to compress on those folds that we did when we started with this and folding these down and doing the inside reverse fold and all this. You did get that, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so now you compress on these and just fold this down. You can fold them all like one by one, just put them into place. And then you just do a little final like.
Got it.
And once you have this, then you fold these down. These like little things that move around like this. You fold those down and you're gonna see a cross. It does help maybe if you actually do take out a pencil and like mark the cross. Because that's like the whole thing. This cross is the whole deal. And so the bottom part of the cross, this information, we want to copy it on the back layer. You see how there's no cross on the back layer, but we want a cross here on the back. So what we do is with all these two layers compressed, we print this information there. Now you can do this for all of them at once, like just go one by one until you do them all, and it's gonna actually it's gonna pop out a little bit. You can do that, or you can just do it once. Entonces tienen la opción de llevarlo y hacerlo para todos o pueden solamente hacerlo una vez. Depende de cómo lo quieran aproximar el problema. If you only do it once, what you then need to do is unfold these on all of them. So you need to just do it once. So I did it on here, for instance. There is the X I copied. Entonces voy a desdoblar para mostrar cómo solamente también tienes que hacerlo. Como la opción donde solamente lo haces una vez. So we go back to like the first one. Let's see here. And this is to ease on overlap. And here's the new cross I got, right? This is the cross I copied. And now with that cross, I simply just extended completely on all layers. It might create, of course, some not discrepancies, but some mistakes because of all the layering, but it does just prints everything. It just gives everything the information that we need. Entonces, de esta manera ya resolvimos todo. Ya no hay necesidad de nada más, solamente se extiende la línea y listo. Entonces, ya. Problema resuelto. Se pasaron para todas las capas. La cruz y es una cruz completa. Esto ya se extiende. So you can do this the way of doing it just once and for all layers, or you can do it more do it one by one, and then some extensions and whatnot, and just extend that. If you want to cut it out, this is a great moment to cut it out. Like in this part, you can just, because if you do a cut here, it's just going to go to all the layers. Entonces, la última parte, ok. Entonces, primero que nada fue donde conseguimos esta cruz o esta parte de la cruz que tenemos aquí, esta tacha, esta X que se forma. La copiamos por este doblez donde teníamos así, le doblamos para abajo. Tenemos aquí la cruz que se ve del otro lado y esto lo pellizcamos y así lo pasamos para la otra capa, que es lo que queremos. Una vez que tenemos esa capa copiada, podemos desdoblar. Aquí le ves que la marqué. Y eso lo copio para todas las capas. 1 y 2. Entonces ya la cruz se extiende y además de eso se copia. And in here you can actually unfold. And if you wanted to, you can extend this line in order just to get like a full picture, which is, yeah, I think it's better if you actually extend these. They should match, of course, like this line should hit the other one. Aquí estoy extendiendo las líneas, conectándolas, ya que en el caso de esta figura, no siempre es el caso, pero en el caso del 8, sí es, porque es un número par, la línea continúa y conecta con la que sigue. Si fuera un número non, esto no coincide.
Sorry, what two lines are connecting?
The opposite side. So as you can see, like my petal shapes here are cut off at that point, yeah? So what I'm connecting is pretty much like this to this, pretty much finding the fold that connects this line. What I'm also guided by here is where this line is matching on the edge, where there's that.
Sorry, could you that bottom part of the inside octagon. Can you just refold to show how you folded that bit?
Which bit? This bit over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I know it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy because it's basic, but at the same time, it's just crazy. So it's a nice experiment, though. I mean, I think that the idea again is to just help your imagination, hopefully, perhaps. But here's the idea. So you have this. It's kind of ruined because I actually already inscribed here. I don't have this one written down, so better. So you have this, and you know, in the case of what we did have folded were these. So we have these lines folded in, right?
Yep.
And then we also have these interacting.
Yep.
And then we did the inside reverse fold on them. And that's where the magic happens, because with this inside reverse, we have now placed the line of the star, these two lines, this line and this line, or that part of the line, and we're placing those onto this layer. So we're doing a mirror. This is where the mirror is. So putting that onto this layer.
Mm-hmm.
And so once that's done, now we see those two lines that are there on the cross, these two in the bottom there. And now we pinch them so that they go on the other layer. So we fold like this.
Yep.
And then we pinch.
Yep.
And so with that, then we unfold and go back to the kite shape. And now that you have these, and you're gonna also notice that they hit exactly where our line is from the circle line.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, once you have that, you can have all the kites unfolded like so. So it's as less of an overlap that you can, the least of an overlap as you can make. Of course, the more polygon sides it has, the less efficient this method is, this general way of solving it. But the idea is just to extend these. So just extend that part of the line, just completely fold it. And another clue that you can use is that because this line is perpendicular to this, then these two will match. So that's something you can look out for. Yeah, the interior petal shape is when we extend the line of the cross here.
I can't figure that bit out. Sorry, this is the first time I've ever done this, and
yeah, no problem.
I've got the.
Let's see.
I figured out how you do the. I don't know if this probably doesn't make any sense. I'm not sure how to explain this, but oh, I can't. I can do sort of this bit where it pokes.
Yeah.
This one where it kind of pokes out like that to make that fold.
Good.
But I don't. So I then have. Sorry, this is this bit here.
Perfect. Yeah.
But I don't understand how you get the folds that come
afterwards.
Below.
Yeah. Okay.
There.
So what I do for those below, you have two options. Either you do it for all of them. So that means to say that either you do this like crunchy thing for all of them.
Yeah, I've done that. Yeah.
And then unfold it.
Okay.
That's one option. And simply then do a fold that connects from one to the other. It's just going to be a straight line. So if you have that bit folded, then you just fold it with the whole thing and it'll just connect to the other one. That's one option. That's one option. The other option is to go back into this fold of the kite, like just unfold the inside reverse folds that we had, which I think is the simpler option and the more origami-like option in a way. Sorry for all the overlap. There it is. So to have it like this, so you can see that I unfolded these, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the cross that I just got, the top part of the cross, yeah?
so I'm folding it the other way to get to that stage.
To this stage?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to fold it to look like that. Let's see.
You were here already because you showed me this shape with this thing folded down. So it's pretty much just like unfolding these.
Okay.
And if you don't have
okay.
it like this, then you just have to like open it up so much that it closes on the other side, right?
Okay, so I open it like this. Okay. Yep, that makes sense. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good, you're good. Actually, I just found a solution. That's nice. Okay, so you have it like this now, and you only see the top part of the cross, yeah? This part. True?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, those lines of the cross partial, you're gonna extend them, so you can just make them go completely straight. So you do the fold, you see where the fold is, and you just crunch the whole thing. Just the whole thing, just fold it so that it goes through all the layers.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, and then that just extends. And afterwards, once you do those, what I was thinking like, well, extend them. No, we don't need to extend nothing. We do those folds, and then we open it so much that it closes on the other side. And there we get like where it's unfinished. We get where it hits on that point. So now we can extend. And that just solves it.
Lovely. Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody got that last part for the extension? And then, well, this is technically the minimal triangle, you know. If you wanted to do 3D, this is also the moment to like fold the whole thing. This might again not be the best for structural solutions, but too many layers. Yeah, sorry about that. Entonces, bueno, me perdí también un poco en la explicación en español. Pero aquí la idea fue donde lo volteé, o sea, lo tenía del otro lado. Lo tenía aquí donde extendí estas líneas. Y luego, una vez que tengo esta cruz, que conecta con esta línea, lo abrí tanto que me cerró del otro lado y ahí puedo ver como el punto en donde terminaría esa extensión que le hice, porque no es una extensión que completa. Y una vez que tengo esta línea de abajo, ahora esa la extiendo para terminar el pétalo. Entonces la cruz esta ya se extiende hasta la pared. Y en esta parte puedo ver también ya la figura completa dentro del triángulo que quiero. So in this part, I see the complete shape I was looking for. I have the petal shape, I have my star rosette here on the bottom, and I have here my top part. So if you actually now open everything up, here's where the rosette is. Now, usually this end here on the, if you do leave the square bit, this one actually just extends all the way. It doesn't do the bounce that we do have here. It doesn't have this. It just simply just goes out all the way. And it actually creates an octagon right there. Doubts, comments, questions?
I'm sorry, I'm
Preguntas.
confused. You seem to have a square piece of paper now.
Yes, well, I did leave these folded in.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but I think it's better for the first time you do this that you do cut these out, because they
Okay.
will create an overlap, so it might make things a little more hard to fold. But if you did leave these, if you did cut them out, you should be able to see the rosette like this. ¿Dudas, comentarios, preguntas? Sin pena, para eso estamos aquí. This is why we're here, folks. Anybody got any questions? Everybody got it? Anybody don't got it?
I think I got it.
Nice, nice. So I showed you like the way to get like through the overlap thing, which might create a little bit of a, inaccuracy and whatnot. So if you really want to get like down to something more precise, I would recommend, of course, to unfold and actually extend the lines properly for each one or something like that. Something along the lines of wanting everything to not be distorted by the height of the paper, which is inevitable due to the three-dimensionality of the object, the paper itself. So it does happen, sucede, that people will mistake this petal. This petal is one of the more common shapes to be misconstructed. And what's very interesting is that it actually does involve this bisection there in the circle. Because there are ways to get a shape like this, but it's more scrunched. It's more closed. And these 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4 will not be the same. Those are the wrong ones. This is the right one because it has all these 4 being the same value. And further, it actually involves everything to be like this very precise and beautiful arrangement. And we could actually so if we wanted to, we could find the angles inside of this shape. That's also a nice exercise. If you want more like a math inclined exercise, that's also a great little thing to try and find the angles of the shapes. So here's an example of how we would find the angles of the shapes. If you guys want to just follow along or do it on your own, or while you're finishing it off, I'm just going to do it here on the side. Okay, so I'm going to get the angles inside of this shape. So I'm going to just draw a little mock-up over here. Not supposed to be exact. So there it is. And so first question is, how many points does my shape have? So that has 6 points. So therefore this polygon is an irregular hexagon. So that means that if I use the internal angle formula, so that's n minus 2 times pi, pi being 180 degrees. So it has 6, so n is 6. So 6 minus 2 times pi, so that means 4 pi. That means that the sum of these angles have to be 4 pi. All right, that's well and good. Well, we're working with eightfoldness. So we're going to be working with fractions of 8. So that means that if we're working with fractions of 8, then 4 pi is going to be equal to 4 times 8, that is 32. So 32 pi over 8. Right? Because 32 is 4 times 8. So this is the same thing as saying 4 pi is the same as 32 eighths. All right, good. Now we look at the shape. We have this star right there. And we can use then the internal angle formula for the star angle formula. So for this octagram, That's the 8-2 octagram. So it's the one that has two squares like this. And the angle formula for the star is n minus 2k times pi over n. And k is the star number. It's the number that you jump. So in this case, it would be like 8/2 in the form here of n/k. K is how many vertices you jump to draw the star. So in this case, there's 8 is how many points there are in your circle. In this Schlafly system, we use brackets. So there's 8 points to a circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 points to a circle. And then k/2, well, n/2, sorry. So that number 2 there means that we go 0. We start at any point and we use that point as 0. So 0, 1, 2. And so that's where we draw our line. And then from there, well, we add 2 to that. So 3, 4. We add 2 to that. So 4, 5, 6. We add 2 to that. And then it closes. Because it's 8. So 8 is 0 because this is mod. If you know a little bit more about mathematics, this is mod arithmetic. And then, well, the same thing happens on your system. So we have 2 squares. And so now we plug this into this formula. 8/2 into this, so n is 8 minus 2k, so that's 2 times pi over 8. So 8 minus 2 times 2, that's 4. So 4 minus 4, that's 4. So 4 pi over 8. And that's what this angle is, which is the same as pi over 2, which is a right angle. And it makes sense because it's made up of a square. So that's a right angle there. So that point right there, that's a right angle. And because this is, keeping going, we know then this angle. And we're working with this. So this is pi over 2 right here. So, but we're working with fractions of 8. So then this, we already have it as 4. So we have that solved so much. Good. All right, what else? Well, this here on the top, that point seems to be part of an octagon. It actually is. Like if we tile this together, we're going to see that this is a quarter of an octagon. So that is the internal angle of an octagon. So we can use the internal angle formula and get, 8 minus 2 times pi over n. So this is 6. Because again, this is so if we had an octagon, the internal angle for that octagon would be, well, any one of them, it would be 6 pi over 8. Because it has 8 points and because it's regular, we can actually do like n minus 2 times pi over n. If it's irregular, we can't do this over n because we don't have the same angle on all of them. But because they're all the same angle, we simply just divide by how many sides it has, how many angles there are. So 6 pi over n, so that's there. So 4 and 6, that's 10. All right, good. So we're missing only 22 of the pi's in there. So what else can we extract out of this? Well, we have that this line over here extends into an 8-3. So we can find this angle by using the star angle formula. We can have the 8-3 there. So we can plug that 8-3 into the formula here. And so 8 minus 2 times 3, that's 6. So 8 minus 6, that's 2. So 2 pi over 8. And that's what these two angles are. So 2. And so because there's a straight line there, if that's 2 pi over 8, then this has to be the remainder of that. So this has to be 6. So this is 6 as well, and this is a copy of it. So 6, 6, 6, that's 18, plus 4, that's 22. So we only missing 10. So that here is 5. And those are the angles. So that angle is 4 pi over 8. That is 6 pi over 8, 5 pi over 8, 6 pi over 8, 5 pi over 8, and 6 pi over 8. And that's it's interesting that all of these are like multiples of 8, or like they're within the scheme of the fold, which is fun and interesting to think about. But that's a way that I usually go about this business. Also, if you want to cut it, I would recommend that you actually fold onto one of these. You get to choose. So thank you for indulging me in that. Perdón si no hablaba en inglés, ahí me fui toda la explicación en inglés. Me disculpo. En español, please. I'm sorry. But if you want to cut it, we'll go into the Spanish lesson for that a little bit later because of time. But if you want to cut it, you can go to here, like when you have this arrangement, and just do a little offset. It can be random offsets, but I like to do it by hand. Just fold so I have this line. I'm gonna actually use it with another color. So I have these lines there, and then what I do is one line on one side, and then I try to see the distance on the other side. Entonces aquí para hacer el offset, me imagino que hay una distancia igual para la derecha que para la izquierda, y marco una línea paralela, a parallel line. Entonces from there to there, depending on how thick you want it, right?
Excuse me, can I just ask you a question, please?
Yes, sure.
When you have some time, when you're done with your work, I'll just show you where I'm at, and you can tell me where I need to get to from there. Okay, when you're done with everything.
At the end, or right now? Because I think
At
right now
the
would
end,
be better.
at the end it's fine. At the end, it's fine.
Okay. Can you show
Thank
me
you.
that? I can see where you're at right now. That'd be
Okay,
fine.
let me show you.
Yes.
I'm
please.
at here. Can you see? I think, well, I
can
hope I
see.
did it right.
Yep. I can
At
see.
that point, where I'm supposed to be. And that was I went to pray, so I lost track with you guys.
No, I can see where you're
Yeah,
at.
then from there,
Yeah, before I cut it,
from
actually.
there, then I didn't know it.
I think now is the best time to ask because I am going to cut it. So here it is. Let me just fold these back into the octagon shape, sorry. So you have this, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
the idea is, well, you also have this cross, don't you? You should see this cross, this X that goes there. Do you see that cross?
Kind of, I actually folded all of the pieces like that. I don't know whether I was supposed to do that or not.
But do you see the cross? The one that I have there? You should be able to see this.
Yeah.
If you don't, tell me if you don't, because you do. If you don't, then it's just this.
No, something that's not looking right. It's okay. I'll follow on the recording later.
Okay,
Thanks.
you sure?
I'm just a bit too slow, I think.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well,
okay, thanks.
Yeah, I'll do another one of these.
Okay. This will be recorded though, so I can't have a look at this again.
Excuse me, the cut off there a little bit. I couldn't hear you.
I said I'll have a look at the recording and then I'll follow it from there.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
No worries. Okay, last bit before we move on, because we have to move on. We have to do the assigned pattern. The other one. You know what? I'm gonna leave this at the end. If you guys stick around, we'll cut it. But for now, let's just move on into the actual assigned pattern, the one we have instructions for. So I'm gonna imagine that you guys have the instructions. Voy a imaginar que todos tienen las instrucciones que les mandé por correo, yeah? The 6-fold instructions. If not, I'm gonna put it in the chat. I did send them on the thing. Let's see. There it is on the chat. Okay. So first step first, you need to start with a hexagon. We don't have a hexagon. So here's how you get a hexagon. I'll give you a little second here for you to get ready. Actually, this is not letter size. Now that I'm realizing, I think this is called legal. But it doesn't matter. You can use any rectangle that you want. So here's how it goes. You start with your rectangle and you fold in half like this, the long. So you fold the short one in half, pretty much, right? The short edge gets folded in half. And now we fold this in half, the half of the half, but we're not going to fold the whole line. We just want somewhere around this area. So we just put it into position and then just fold like around there, somewhere around here. Doesn't have to be the fold line, doesn't have to be too strong, as long as you can see it. That's good enough. Somewhere around there. Okay, so if you want some real accuracy for this one, what you do is you then put the vertex of the paper there. Yeah, you can see better the light. You take that vertex and you put it on the first line that we did, the first half, and make sure that the fold comes from the other corner. And you don't have to fold the whole thing. What you do need to fold is where your reference was. So here I can see that my fold was somehow there, around here. So the intersection of those two lines, yeah? The intersection of the half that we got, and now with this one. And then afterwards, we take that vertex, the one that's on the side that we built, and we put that onto there. Ah, perdón, olvidé las en español otra vez. Entonces empezamos doblando esto. Bueno, perdón, nada más deja termino aquí y lo voy a volver a hacer en español desde el principio. I'm going to just do it twice. So now we take that vertex and we put on the intersection exactly like that. And we take the other one and we put it there as well. So this is the half of the half. Then this is this angle where we got there. We got where those intersected. And then we put both vertices on there, 1 and 2. Sí, Rosita, un segundito y vamos a volver a empezar, de hecho, pero en español. You take the remainder and you fold that onto the fold. And then you have this line, which is the excess there of the half, right? It should be the extension of the half line. And you fold that. Just copy that on all the layers.
Sorry, can you just repeat the last 2 folds, I think?
So 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Does it matter what size your paper was?
No, it shouldn't. No, because this line is the half line. As long as it's a rectangle though. It has to be a rectangle.
1, 2.
So first was that point. You got that point?
Yep.
Fold both vertices onto it.
Yep.
The remainder, fold that onto the fold.
Yep.
And then you have this line. You have this fold.
What? Ah, I see. Okay.
And you just fold that on all the layers. You just copy that all around. And then you unfold the second one, this big one. And you take the edge and you put it onto the fold, the bisection. Just take that and you put it there. And voila. A hexagon.
What was the bisection again? Sorry.
Yeah, it's this. So it's the second fold that we did, this one that went all the way out to the other one.
Yep.
We unfolded that big triangle and just folded the edge onto the line. I'm going to repeat the process, but now in Spanish. Ok, entonces empezamos con el rectángulo. Doblamos a la mitad. Es importante empezar con un rectángulo y no con un cuadrado. Un cuadrado no nos va a dar esto. Un cuadrado nos puede dar... Hay diferentes maneras de sacar el hexágono en un cuadrado, pero eso vamos a dejar para otro día, para otro video. Entonces aquí lo doblé para que tenga la montaña, para estar del lado de la montaña de la mitad. Y aquí, cualquiera de los dos lados, no importa cuál, pero tengo que sacar el cuarto. Entonces la mitad de la mitad. Ahí donde sea. Nada más con que sea la mitad de la mitad. Y no doblamos todo, nada más una partecita. Aquí más o menos como por esta área. Algún lugar por aquí más o menos. Y ahora queremos que pase una línea por aquí. Bueno, la intersección es, o sea, si doblamos este cuarto, entonces la línea que queremos va a venir de acá. Entonces voy a levantar de este cuarto, ¿se cuenta? De donde está la división. Y la voy a colocar en la mitad que tengo aquí, esta línea de la mitad. Y que pegue en la otra esquina de allá, en esta esquina. No quiero tampoco un doblez aquí completo, solamente quiero en donde este doblez intersecta con el cuarto, aquí. Pero sí me tengo que asegurar que el doblez venga de la esquina, que la otra esquina toque con la mitad. Esas dos cosas tienen que cumplirse. Y luego ya con eso ya tengo este punto, donde intersectan esas dos líneas, la del cuarto y la del ángulo aquí que hicimos esto. Bueno, ya que tengo ese punto, llevo el vértice ahí. 1 y debería de hecho pegar exactamente el doblez en la mitad de aquí. Y luego llevo lo que me sobra y lo coloco a que también pegue en el punto. Ahí nomás, bueno, yo lo giré un poco más para poder, como yo estoy aquí, más o menos en esta parte, entonces para yo poder ver, pero aquí tienen. Entonces ahora tienen esta figura que de hecho es interesante porque forma dos triángulos similares. Este triángulo y este triángulo son similares, que quiere decir que también este triangulote es similar. Entonces aquí hay tres triángulos iguales. Uno, grandote aquí. Dos, el mediano. Y tres, este chiquito. Todos son el mismo triángulo. Bueno, toman el restante, después del doblez, este pedazo que queda, este no es el restante. Bueno, o sea, sí hay un restante aquí, pero no nos importa ese. El restante más pequeño este y lo ponemos en el doblez. Y luego tenemos el doblez aquí que se ve, que es la extensión de la línea media. Es esta línea que se va aquí. Ahí la vemos. Y esto lo doblamos para abajo. Y de hecho va a empatar esta pared con la otra pared. Entonces aquí hay varias similitudes o varias como coincidencias de las que podemos aprovecharnos. Y se extiende así y se ve así. Un hexágono truncado. Levantamos el segundo triángulo que hicimos, este. Y le hacemos una bisección. Donde doblamos la pared del rectángulo hacia el doblez que hicimos de ese. Y listo. Así se dobla un hexágono de un rectángulo. ¿Dudas, preguntas? tomar su silencio como aprobación. Alrighty, so moving on. Lo que sigue entonces. I'm going to cut away this hexagon from the rectangle. So el hexágono, vamos a extraerlo del rectángulo de papel aquí. Now, you could make the case that you don't need to cut the whole thing, that you can actually overlap and then just copy the pattern into a rectangle tile, but for right now, we are going to extract the hexagon. So just as much as we did the 8-fold division, right now we're going to do the 12-fold division. And those lines are going to be very necessary. So we kind of did a little practice there on the 8. Now we're going to go all the way up to 12. Entonces esto que vamos a hacer ahora es muy similar a lo que hicimos ahorita con el 8, pero ahora lo vamos a hacer con el 12. Pero es muy parecido. Entonces podemos decir que lo del 8 fue como práctica. So it should look a little something like this. Ok, so first step, primer paso de nuestras instrucciones, que de hecho malamente solo están en inglés, pero bueno. Se trata de del radio y los apotemas. Entonces hay que doblar, todas esas líneas van a ser igual. O sea, todas van a ser o valle o montaña, depende de qué lado lo doble. Yo lo doblaré en valle. So these next lines are all going to be the same state. We're going to fold these. So that means that where two vertices meet each other, and also where it looked like this. I heard a kid say once that this was like a house. So yeah, like the house. I guess you can make that case, no? And both of them in the same state, so same side. So all of them you just go around like 1, 2, entonces así, siguiendo 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, y 6. You see what I did there in doing one number in each language? So we have this now. I have my radii and my apothem in the same state. They're all valleys in this case, on this side. All valleys, puras montañas. Mis radios y mi apotema. Radii centered to the vertex, apothem centered to midpoint of edge. Apothem, radius. Okay, I'm going to turn over this thing. So they're all mountains now. And now I'm going to bisect between them. So I need to do the double mountain technique. What I'd like to do for this is, again, I'd like to select them. I need to select. So I need to just fold, crease where my first selection is, and there's going to be my second one. So 1 and 2. You can extend this a whole way, by the way. It doesn't have to just be one slice. You can have the slice completely like that, if it helps. And then from here, the idea is, notice how I'm using my middle finger on one edge and my thumb on the other. And with my index finger, I press. So I'm like doing this, like syncing with my index finger. And then with the other hand, I help myself so that sync. And then here I use my nail so that it goes to the center. I need this fold to go to the center. Entonces aquí lo que estoy haciendo es usando mi pulgar y mi dedo medio aquí para empujar estas dos paredes juntas, y con el índice lo sumerjo, lo hundo, y luego con mis uñas o con, bueno, o sea, puedo, ya que se hunde, puedo simplemente sostenerlo y solito, y ya con la otra mano, como sea, pero quiero que el doblez se extienda hacia el centro. So, quiero que esto toque aquí a la mitad y luego igual del otro lado. Same thing on the other side. If we open it up, we're going to see that we bisected. Si lo abrimos, vamos a ver que bisecamos una de nuestros aquí rebanadas. So we have options. We can either do the hinge move where we started from in the 8 and, just move these to the side and like keep crunching it, or just unfold and repeat the process on all of them. So you can go one by one. Entonces tienes de dos. O aplicas este movimiento y te vas haciéndolo de donde doblas así las aspas de un lado a otro, o lo haces individual. A mí se me hace que cuando pasas cierto número de lados ya conviene más hacerlo individual por la posibilidad que el estrés supere o sea, como hay tantos pedazos en el centro que se pasan ahí, crees una especie de, ¿cómo se diría? Inaccuracy, así una falta de puntería, pues no es tan preciso. Una imprecisión, ándale. So what I'm saying is that when you have a lot of sides for your polygon, it tends to be that hinge move where we have this on one of them and then move them to the other. It might down the line, not the first move, but down the line, it will create some stress. So you can either do them one by one, or you can do just one and then do the hinge and unfold. So you don't have to do it exactly like I do. You have to do it the way that that works for you. Because it really is a very personal endeavor, this folding thing. I'm like, one of the lessons that I've gotten out of teaching online, and something that was a problem for me because I used to teach people live and travel to teach or whatever. Like I was lucky enough to do that. But the point is that I had this thing, this tick, this bad habit of taking the paper away from the students' hands and going like, oh, here's how you do it. Right? Because they would either get frustrated or time was running out or something. And it's just like, here, move on, next step. And I'm glad now that because of online, I simply can't do that. I can't reach into the corner, the screens of people. The first couple of days though, teaching were very hard because of that reason. I was getting like frustrated that I couldn't help people out and they were like, I don't understand. But with time, I think I've gotten the hang of it and being more accepting of my own limitations, which is nice. So yeah, any way that you can solve it, that's the way to go. But the intention is bisect all of these slices. So I think it's good to have like a clear goal and intention in mind and you just follow that intention. What am I doing? I'm bisecting. That's right. That's what I'm doing. Achieve your goal. So sometimes it is better to have that like more goal-oriented mentality because it's more based on your intention, not on imitation. Bueno, entonces aquí ando diciéndoles de cómo, ya ni me acuerdo qué estaba diciendo. Supongo que algo que ver con la perfección, no, ya ni me acuerdo, qué serio. Sí, de que uno de mis hábitos malos como maestro en vivo era de quitarle el papel a la gente cuando estábamos aprendiendo. Se desesperaban ellos, algunos de los principiantes, o se nos acababa el tiempo y para agilizar el proceso les quitaba el papel de que mira, déjame te ayudo y les adelantaba. El problema ahí es de que les robo la experiencia de haberlo logrado. Y por más de que al final sí terminen con su figurita, pues no lo sienten, no tiene el mismo peso y valor. Y es una de las cosas positivas que salieron de dar clases en línea, es de que ya no puedo, aunque quisiera, ayudar de esa manera a alguien más, que de algún modo no es ayudar a alguien. O sea, quitarle a alguien el logro de haberlo hecho no es ayudarlo. Es de hecho robarle la experiencia de poderlo haberlo hecho él o ella. Entonces estoy agradecido de que mínimo esta lección ya no me queda otra más que aprenderla y ojalá ya que regrese, si es de que regresamos a clases en vivo, etcétera, ya no voy a quitarles el papel a los estudiantes. All righty. We got the 12-fold division. Everybody ready on there? 12-fold division. It's fun. It's a beautiful thing. I love the way it shines. And if you want it, you can also just like compress it on the preliminary fold idea. It's sort of one of the advantages of doing the double mounted technique, that you have this thing just ready to go, the preliminary. Again, if you want to have it balanced and not stress out the center, which was the intention of doing one by one, you need to have 6 of these on my left and 6 of them on my right, because it's total 12. So therefore, 6 and 6. 1, 2, you can count it off in my hand, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and stop. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 on my left, and stop. So this is balanced. Aquí le voy haciendo que como son 12, tengo 6 en mi mano derecha y 6 en mi izquierda, pero no importa esto. Esto es solo por referencia. This doesn't really matter right now. What really matters is that we are at step 3. Is it in the handout? Let me see, let me pull it up. Okay, yeah, step 3 done, and now we have step 4, fold onto the vertices. So we now take the center and we put it on the vertices and we put them on the center. Now this process is very algorithmic in nature. Like a lot of things, it's just like do once, but then repeat on all of them. Also, a nice little system is that this is going to be the 6-2 star, something that's, because it's almost as if you're counting off like 0, 1, 2, and there's 6 points, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, and it's a compound system. These are called compound star polygons. Compound star polygons are those that are made up of 2 or more shapes instead of a unicursal star. So this star is made up of 2 triangles. There's one triangle, and then I open up and I do the other, and there's the other triangle. I didn't include that in the diagram because it's pretty simple and self-explanatory. So the diagram, actually, I try to highlight the line that we're going to fold. So in the step, if you see the lines that we fold become gray, and the lines that we are going to fold are the black ones. So the gray ones are lines that are faded, that we've done already, and the black lines are supposed to represent the one for that step. And I show first the fold, and then the folded line that we intend to get, and then show how to get it. Okay, entonces. No era una hoja 4. Yo estoy usando tamaño, creo que es legal, pero no importa. Con que sea un tamaño rectangular, esto sale. O sea, salen en carta, salen legal, salen todas. En A4, igual como le cortamos, no importa. Y sí, da igual aquí. Solo con que puedas hacer la referencia ahí de los brincos y los rebotes de luz, como les digo, que no lo mencioné aquí, pero la idea es esa. All right, everybody got their 6-2s? Now it does help if you have a pencil to mark these points. So try and orient yourself on the instructions and try to keep track of it. So it's like, all right, so that's like the floor level. So, okay, that's the floor. That's good. All right. So here's the floor. And then I'm going towards where this line is intersecting with this one. So I can see there, that's the point. And over here, that's the point. Right? There and there, those 2 points, yeah? So it's where the line of the star that we just got intersects with the fold line, with this line. So this is step 5, I believe. Yeah, this is step 5. And we fold those vertices to where those lines are. And the fun thing happens where we match then the top ones to there as well. So both of them, they get the same treatment. Like that. And now this is the hard part, quote unquote. It's keeping track of which ones you've done. So you can either, you can do a little cross, a little X there just to let you know, like this one is done, right? Like this one I solved for. Now you can like rotate and repeat. So now you're doing this one. So where does this one intersect? Right there on my 12, right there on my 12. And repeat. You're gonna actually see that these line up to these, which is super cool. I love this. I so love that this relationship exists. So I'm pointing out the more obvious relationships, but there are many relationships. If you zoom in on the handout, you will be able to see some lines that are actually matching up perfectly. All right, so this corner here is done as well. So a little X, and now this one. And again, where are my points? It's here, and it's here. Yeah. Those vertices need to match, 1, 2. Now the fourth over there. Kind of seeing it pretty fast now because of the intersection that this thing has with the other one. Done. Fifth. Bueno, aquí como se pueden dar cuenta, ahora sigo en español, aquí como se pueden dar cuenta lo que estoy haciendo es, bueno, tachando las que ya hice y el punto que estamos buscando es en el paso 5. Bueno, este realmente es el paso 6 porque el paso 6 es donde repetimos el procedimiento del paso 5 en todas las paredes. Entonces hay una referencia que ahora estamos copiando todo lo demás, informando el resto de nuestro hexágono. Y aquí estoy marcando con una X en las paredes que ya lo tengo. Lo que estoy buscando es en dónde intersecta esta línea del 6,2 que tenemos aquí con la división de 12. Esta viene esta división de 12 y aquí conecta. Y ahora llevo ese punto por arriba. Lo interesante es de que no necesariamente lo tienes que ver así, porque también puedes verlo hacia la otra, la inversa, donde te enfocas en el punto de contacto del 12 acá abajo. Puedes también verlo así, o sea, es el mismo punto. Está pasando exactamente lo mismo, pero del otro lado, o sea, ya como lo quieras ver. Yo preferí irme por la larga como la referencia, no sé por qué, pero es en esencia lo mismo. O sea, no, a veces las preferencias que hago simplemente son coincidencias, no es doctrina esto. Para que no se claven. All right, so step 6 is done for me. How you guys doing? So I have my reference there. I have my 6 edges already set and done. So first steps, we're going good. We're doing good. Now we need the references for the vertices. Should I move on, you guys? Should I give you a little more time to catch up? I don't know if I'm going a little bit too fast, perhaps. All right, good. So step 7. It says fold the 8-fold division on the apothem. That means that there's the line that goes here, and there's the line at the midpoint, right? That's the apothem. Now the idea is that we're going to take these divisions, these 12-fold divisions that are here, 1 and 2, it's like the nearest ones, right? Well, the nearest ones would be these, so the second one. Anyway, we take those and we put them on the line. So there that matches. And you're gonna see that actually several lines are matching. We see that that one is matching. We see that this one's matching, this one. Extending, this one is also hitting on there. So right now the idea is that these are matching. This is the one I'm looking out for. There are several lines that are hitting and matching. You can even zoom in on your handout if that helps. Since it's vector information, you can just zoom in as much. Then try to find where the lines are hitting on different points. For me, the clearest one is this, because that's actually correct. So again, where these eightfold divisions are matching on the apothem. So boom, boom. And then a similar thing happens as the last step, where we fold one and now we compensate on the other side. So that's step 7. And now we have to do this for all of them. So just keep track of where your 12 is, your 12th line, your 12th point, and just keep an eye out for where that line is going to fall on the apothem. Because you have a left side and a right side, you got to make sure that both of them are simultaneously falling on lines. Entonces, ahora va en español. La idea es de colocar las divisiones de 12, esto es el paso 7, en la línea media. Entonces aquí mi punto de referencia es esta línea aquí, que es la línea de 12. O sea, esta línea de 6, esta línea de 12 que está aquí, esta chiquita, tiene un poco de giro, y es este punto, y la idea es llevarlo hacia la línea media aquí, esta. Entonces, este va para arriba así. Entonces, ese punto lo llevo a la línea esta. Y como tengo también un lado, o sea, tengo un punto de este lado y tengo un punto de este lado, aquí se fijan que también estas dos están en contacto ahí. Así como esta y esta están en contacto aquí. Contacto, contacto. Y con ese contacto hecho, ahora compenso con la otra esquina al punto, a la cima ahí. Se juntan ahí, estas dos. Es algo interesante que pasa en muchos patrones islámicos, esta compensación dentro de figuras como ideales, como es el hexágono. So on 2 down, 4 to go. Oh yeah, the compensation. Again, remember to match both the right and the left, el lado izquierdo y el derecho. O sea, este que toque y este que acá que toque también, las dos. Ya que doblas ese, ahora lo compensas. Es ese contacto y listo. Y luego compenso. Now, the further down we go, the more relationships are going to come to the surface. And you're going to wonder, like, wait, how did I get that? Because they're going to be very self-referential. It's very strange the way that these can match up very, very harmoniously. So So far, so good? Nah. No, see, the thing is that it doesn't matter which rectangle we started with. It might be the case that your hexagon is a little bit out of proportion, but I think it's more with some inaccuracies that might have happened there, but the rectangle size shouldn't matter. That shouldn't be a point of contention. Yeah, I'm sorry. But yeah. But here you can try again. I mean, you can always like start over with the hexagon. There's several ways to get hexagons too. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah. Sorry, but keep going, Rasha. Don't give up. Like even if your hexagon is badly proportioned, don't stop. Keep it going. Keep it going. The intention is what counts. Even if it's a little off, it'll be something. It's a lesson. All right, step 10. We gotta find the intersection here. What intersection? Well, the lines that we just folded give us this hexagon that's out here. You see this hexagram? So it's these points: 1 point, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So sorry, colors, confusing. That's not very clear. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's the most recent lines that we got. So it's the one that we just got. It's these. Okay, so those are now our landing sites. That means that we fall our paper onto them. You can fold both, like it's gonna be, I didn't put it in the instructions, but you can fold both, like fold the top one and the bottom one like that. It helps if you make many that it'll make it so everything is just super symmetrical if you do both. But this one is optional. It's not part of the pattern at all. What is obligatory is this one. Entonces, en esas extensiones que hicimos del último doblez donde marcamos el hexagrama marqué 6 puntos donde hacen contacto, intersectan, y esos 6 puntos ahora son nuestros objetivos. Ahora queremos doblar hacia esos puntos. Y es opcional, no lo puse en las instrucciones, pero también lo pueden hacer de compensación. O sea, hacen ese doblez y luego lo compensan acá arriba también, donde ambas esquinas tocan en ese punto. Y claro, hay que mantener el ojo acá abierto para buscar otras referencias que nos puedan servir. Pero la más obvia es esa y por eso es la que menciono. So again, we do that for all of them, and there's going to be several relationships. That's what I was saying right now in Spanish. There's going to be several things that my last bolts are in the wrong place, I think. Last bolts in the wrong place. You mean these? Yeah, this one is the harder one because you need to keep an eye out on the 12 fold that's falling on the apothem. And it's easy to get like sidetracked or lose a little bit of where it is, but you should also see that these that we're doing actually close off the first hexagram that we did. So the first folds that we did, these that fell on these points, they made a little hexagram. Here I'll show you the hexagram that I'm talking about. This is the first hexagram we had. Sometimes it helps to actually trace these things. And actually this hexagram is part of the pattern, so we could have started here. But anyway, so it's this first hexagram that we did. And then the last fold, the fold that we're getting now, is actually where these points are connecting. Like this fold where the 12 fold lines on the apothem is also the line that closes off this hexagram. And then where those hexagram lines extend, that's the landing site. So you have those points and then you fall onto those points. So again, it's like a self-informing thing. One thing sets off the other in motion. So I guess my case would be that it's sort of a lie, these things. Like there are a lot of Very beautiful relationships that these sort of build on their own as we move along. It's like one thing sets off the other emotion. And it's fun to try and find these, like where they are and how we can, you know, take advantage of the folds and the third dimension. Lo que mencionaba aquí era de cómo los dobleces que hacemos van informando al patrón uno después del otro. Entonces hacemos una cosa y luego esa informa la que sigue. Y eso informa lo que sigue. Entonces, la contraparte de eso es de que si tuvimos algún error en la construcción en algún punto, ese también se va compounding. ¿Cómo se dice en español? O sea, que se va aumentando en sí mismo, se exponencia. Creo que se dice. Bueno, voy a voltear este papel. I'm going to turn it over, and because we have all the information that we need. And now we trace. So easiest trace for me is just to look for the hexagon first. That's just me, that's just me. This is one of the more strange Islamic patterns because it sort of breaks off one of the rules of flow, but it does it in such a harmonic way that, you know, we can't get mad at it. But also notice how we have constructed a 12-pointed star. Like this is sort of like located inside this 12-pointed star, which is quite interesting. Optionally, you can also inscribe the other star. Actually will connect to this line, so that's nice. That sort of like has that relationship to it. But I wouldn't recommend this because this is not canonical. What is canonical is that these get extensions. You might find variations of the pattern that these are actually part of it, these little rumps. So that's also a thing that you can do. It's an alternative. The reason why I'm marking these is because I want to show how there's actually the 12-pointed star that we're using in the center. We're only focusing on one of the two sixes. So this is a double hexagram. And I'm just writing these down just to showcase that doubleness. Dudas, comentarios, doubts, questions? Well, that's good, I guess. I'm going to take silence again as though everything's fine. Sorry for the sarcasm. Yeah, it's very easy to make mistakes. And the thing about making mistakes in this kinds of designs is that, again, it compounds. So you make one mistake and that mistake follows the next one or makes the next one greater. But, you know, at the same time, it's sort of a lesson on sort of consequence, I guess, you know, you do one
Okay.
thing. Yeah. Was there a question there, or a comment? About? I heard an okay. I hope that was a good okay. That kind of like okay of, okay, I see. All right, so once we're done with this pattern, I'm going to show you how to make it into an origami tessellation, or how to work this into an origami thing using the concept of channels. Now here with the colors, I kind of went a little bit crazy here because this is not canonical at all. What is canonical is simply these, the hexagrams, the hexagons, and these shapes in between. That is what's truly part of the pattern. And you know, you have the choice of whether to include these. You can include those. What's fun is that if once you include these, then the whole pattern is just connected. Once you include these into the pattern, then everything's just game. Then you actually have it as a 12-fold. Because everything else just connects, but it sort of ruins the illusion a little bit. And the illusion being that it's kind of breaking flow, because this is sort of like its own shape, and this just hits. And that's also kind of what might create some things, because we can't just follow this and go out to the next one because it's not part of it. In a way, it is best to just include the hexagrams and the hexagons, and that's it. Perhaps, maybe not. Optional. See, we get options. It's not only one thing. It's what you want to do with it. Kind of went a little crazy here. Yeah, might as well. Keep consistency. Gotta love these car salesman people. Everybody good so far? More or less, kind of, yeah? All right, so here's how I would turn this into a 3D thing. So we now get to have a little moment of reflection. We get to think, all right, so where are the channels? Where's the energy flowing towards? Where's the energy flowing from? And my point here would be that, well, energy is flowing through the hexagons in this way. You see that there's some channels actually like connecting the hexagons to each other, right? This is what a channel might be. Here, I'll show you on this side. So there's a channel that goes from here and connects to the other hexagon. So that's like a channel, right? And so this hexagon ends and then the channel goes off. And so this one must also go to the top. So what you can do is you can either, you know, trace that. So like one channel goes here, the other channel goes there, and the other channel goes to the top like this. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's do this thing first. Let's fold all the corners to the center first. But notice that I'm getting them away. Wow, these people and their music. Yo no estoy seguro que están vendiendo cosas, yo nomás creo que nomás están escuchando música muy fuerte. No, sí están vendiendo cosas, un anuncio, maldito sea. Es terrorismo esto, güey.
Sorry, could you unfold that and refold it?
Sure. So it's one of the first folds that we did where we fold the corner to the center. but the idea is for these to fall in the center without this being underneath. I pull this out and fold this so that it's sort of, by the way, this is additional. This is so additional. So I think we're all 13 minutes over our time, but it's fine. I mean, you guys can hang out, but just wanted to put in a little parentheses there that thank you for coming. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. We're not done yet, but might as well do that right now. And yeah, if you want to support these sessions, if you like them, you can donate to PayPal, you can sign up to Patreon. Both those things help immensely. And yeah, just going to keep these going bi-weekly. Gives me time to work on other things during the week. You can work on the instructions, work on what we're going to learn. And you can always contact me on Instagram or anywhere that you have my email, my address, and you have any doubts, we can do that. If you have any ideas, suggestions, whatever, I'm open. And that's the plug. All right, so now we're moving on. Okay, so I have this thing, right? Vertices to the center. And now I turn it over. The idea now is, here is the channel. Here's the channel line. So this fold we should already have. You can see that it's sort of outlined by the hexagram there, the orange one.
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with the last, I don't know if you can see where I am. With the last fold.
Let me see again, sorry.
So I made 4 folds.
But you need all 6 here.
I'm stuck with the last one.
No, I can't believe it. That's propaganda. They're asking me to vote for somebody. Oh my God, I want to open the door and tell them to shut up. Holy crap. Okay, so the idea is, so you had 4 of them, right? Wait, no, I have to tell them to shut up. I can't, sorry. Alrighty, got him to go. Okay, so we're folding all vertices onto the center at the same time. And the idea is to have these be extended, or rather not inside of the papers, because if we fold these all together at the same time, you're going to see that these kind of could be underneath. We don't want that. We want them to be free and have them be like little fins and flaps. And we do that for all of them. And so if you ever fold them and you see that they're not doing what you need them to do, you can simply just open them up like this and you bring them down like this. Okay, now we turn it over and you're going to see that there's our hexagram that we started with, and we fold this down like so. All at the same time. Gives us this shape. Now here we get to make a choice. We choose 3 of them. So it goes 1, 2. I choose 1 yes and 1 no, kind of like this. And this is one of the more classic things in origami where we actually pull on these. And so these are actually going to be synced. It's interesting. So because there are three, it has to be like this. We have to choose which three go like this. Separating like that. And so once we have this arranged, we now can select these 3 points and press down.
How did you press?
So I put my 3 fingers on where the pressure is, which is actually sort of where the hexagon ends. You can see that I have sort of my lines drawn in. You see that this thing is kind of like, you know, like this, sort of moving on this pivot. And then those 3 points I begin to press, and these spread and separate. And then I just make it flat. So aquí lo que estamos haciendo es convirtiendo nuestro patrón islámico en algo más origamesco, siguiendo los canales. Aquí los canales siendo los que conectan los hexágonos. Entonces con estos canales vemos que que esté así, quiere decir que por aquí pasan 3 canales. Pasa 1, 2 que se va para afuera y 3 que conecta para acá. So there's 3 channels. That's what I'm saying right here. That this demonstrates that 3 separate strips are going through the same point, and we can select them, and we can use the strips then to sort of set them apart, and we can use that as a sink. Esto es lo que se llama en inglés un sink. I don't know how to call these in Spanish. I think people call them sinks too. What's interesting also is that this will take away from the pattern what made it special. Because now if we turn it over, we're simply going to see that it's just a hexagram and other hexagrams around it. What's interesting then is that the hexagram suggests that there's 6 channels going through there. So there's 1, 2, 3. I'm glad you enjoyed our propaganda. So this one is going to be a little hard, but the idea is that there is sort of, it's so interesting to me that this is sort of even possible or could be even, what am I seeing? I'm actually, that's fascinating. Am I, what? Like I pull it up to the light a little bit and I'm seeing like the shadow of it and I'm seeing that the pattern is there also, what? Man, that's so annoying. Ah, no, this is different. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, this is a different little sequence, but it's still interesting. Let's see if I can get this to work for me. So Joe had to go. Yeah, thank you, Joe, for being here. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. You're checking out the recording. Hello. Hello from the past. Well, the thing I actually was doing yesterday was like playing around with this. I'm actually playing around with like these steps and like making the pattern be my guide. And what I found, well, actually, I'm having a little bit of trouble pulling it together right now. Let's start from here. But always these patterns could be the gateway to something greater, but I guess we do have to cap it before this extends into 3 hours. So yeah, people are dropping off. So let's talk about it. Let's talk a little bit, guys. Let's have some, so I'm gonna finish off the recording for now. I'm gonna pull up this thing and we can talk about it. You can tell me what you thought and we can have it not be recorded so you don't get shy. Let's just get a little screenshot for the video. And yeah, so thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. Anything that you want to like look at back, you can text me, send me a message, or just comment on the recording or send whatever. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had fun. And I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care.